Murci here, 2008 LP640, and we have discovered some more little problems because I'm ordering all the parts before I tear it down. There you go, look at that leak right there. That's where the main actuator is for the E-gear actuator. See that oil spot? Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, what we'll have to do is once we bring it down, we need to check to see what portion of the actuator is leaking. That's why it's important when you have a mechanic technician that understands these cars, work on them, they will know to check this because we work on exotic vehicles. I prefer to work on Porsches as this is what I mostly work on, but these could be a pain in the butt if the customers don't understand the value and the time and the expense to work on these cars. But if they do, it's a breeze. So what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna have to take the engine down and we'll be able to see much further. But the reason why we're doing this is we're actually gonna be doing a clutch. And the clutch on this car is 95% worn. Actually, the car won't even drive. So after we replace the clutch, we'll break it in. We're actually going to be using a Kevlar clutch in this system. I hope this helps somebody that's maybe trying to diagnose a drip from an E-gear. Let me show you a couple other things. It looks like this hose is leaking, but in reality it's not. It's the valve cover, so don't get that misdiagnosed. It always gets misdiagnosed. That's actually when it came here from Lamborghini dealer. Look at that, valve cover leaking. They said it was the hose leaking. It has nothing to do with the hose leak. It's dripping from the top. I mean that's as clear as day. So don't let nobody sell you anything you don't need, because you'll be replacing parts here. Sky's the limit. Murcialago Lamborghini. Why these things are problem assembling. Okay, so here it is right here, new radiator. Radiator 17 1/4. The old radiator 17 3/4. So the shroud for the fans don't fit. Talk about quality control. Lamborghini engine. Always we take some time here. We don't just yank them out, so make sure nothing's pinching. Yeah, this is definitely a big project. Then we're going to disconnect the rest of the lines here, and here's our engine remover. Alright, just getting some of the other components off here. There's a lot of things in the back that I have to disconnect. It's getting ready to come out. What a process. The convertible spiders, they take forever to do. I mean, literally it takes many days to do it properly on these older cars. Alright, if there's any curious do-it-yourselfers, don't try this at home. Alright, this is the angle right here. That's our coolant draining off. Put a 2x4 there so it doesn't hit the bottom. Get the whole thing up. Engine out. What it looks like. There it is. Time to lower it. Just completed our valve adjustment check on intake and exhaust valves. We got all our dots indicating that we did the adjustment. This side we just completed putting the valve covers back in, the half moons, using our special RTV. Getting ready to put this side in, and we'll get the intake slapped in a second, and then hopefully by next week we can get this car back on the road. These spark plugs weren't even torqued. Whoever replaced them before, so here, let's put on a new one. Look at this. I don't even have to. Let's see. That's ridiculous. Completely not torqued. Yeah, there's such a thing called a torque wrench. Here's what one looks like. Should use this when spark plugs are changed. Unfortunately, whoever did these did not. So this car actually had some misfires as well, but we're putting new spark plugs in here anyways. And these plugs might have been changed, I would say 6,000 miles ago. The upper components already all installed. Now we've removed the transmission and we are about to inspect the clutch and see how badly this thing is worn out. And you can see all the brake dust. So let's pull it apart and see what we can find. Alright, so here's our clutch. It's out. Alright guys, look at this. Completely wore down on one side. The fun part here, it's all the way to the rivets, man. This customer wanted to get his money's worth. Look at this. It's complete shave down. So yeah, here's our hot spots. This clutch wasn't set up properly, more than likely as well. You can see all the generated heat. And here's the flywheel. This is all chewed up. All needs to be done. I mean, it's in really bad shape. You can feel all this. So yeah, time to get it. You see all this debris from the clutch just falling out. Yep, that's it. So time for us to put a new clutch in. This is nasty. Just started cleaning it now. As somebody replaced something before and they don't ever clean them, that's a problem. That's all clutch debris inside there of that throwout bearing. I mean, that thing is just toast. So yeah, we're gonna have to clean everything out. We got this pretty cleaned out. This rear main seal that we're doing, we just replaced the pilot bearing. Here's the old rear main. Putting a brand new one in here. Making sure the surface is fully clean. Everything's washed before we put in a new seal. Okay, so I'm gonna show and demonstrate how to install the rear main seal on the Lamborghini or any other exotic or performance vehicle without cocking the seal. A properly made tool that we made in-house in our machine shop. So here it goes. There's really no way to put a bolt here in the middle to actually spin it from the center. Lamborghini just wants you to beat it in with a hammer. The problem is, if you don't have their special tool, you can cock this and distort the seal like this. This is just exaggerated distortion, but if you distort the slip in any way, this spring right here can pop out, and not only that, it will start to leak. So what we're going to do is we're going to evenly line it in and get this thing to seat. And as we watch it, I want to make sure it's going in even. And this is not a DIY. This just is a demonstration showing folks how to do it properly, how we do it properly. Because a lot of times this is never shown, especially the vehicles we work on. But you know, we don't do it-yourself videos. We don't recommend doing this at all. It's a lot of work, and only a specialized shop should be doing this kind of work, because if you end up messing something up, it's a big job removing this engine. Take a couple days to get it removed properly and get everything disconnected and bled. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a check right quick to make sure we're seated all the way. So now we have a properly 1 millimeter spaced rear main seal. This thing will never leak because it's done exactly how it's supposed to be done, no distortion, with the use of this tool we made. Very important to use proper tools when working on these vehicles. Alright, time to go to the next step, clutch and then transmission back in. Clutch kit here we're going to install right now, and this is a custom clutch, so we're about to put it in, get it installed into this Lamborghini. 7.10 clutch material, brand new, just so we know. Flywheel in, and this thing was filthy. I mean, even from the company, I mean, I just wiped it all down. It had grease, metal debris. This will cause the clutch to glaze if it's not clean. Let me show you what I mean. Here's my napkin. I've already done several of these. This thing was disgusting. It had grease particles. So, you know, this would glaze over if it's not clean. So it's always important to clean these. Clutch in a Lamborghini? Good job. Yeah, we need these here. Good job. We already took these off. So now we have to take out our throwout bearing, right? Right? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Throwout bearing in right now, this Lamborghini. Got my little helper here. Cleaned everything up, that way we can get everything installed. Throwout bearing in. Must be absolutely clean. We'll get everything in. Some of you guys have asked me what these red marks I put on all the time when I'm doing cars. What that means is it's torqued. And we also proof mark. So yeah, this throwout bearing is brand new. Here's the old one. The old one has been removed, and along with the clutch position sensor. We do the whole kit. When we install, we replace everything, because then there's no problems and there's no issues of something failing. That's what it looks like. So we got the clutch installed. Everything's marked properly. Here's our throwout bearing, our clutch position sensor. Everything's been routed. So time for us to get everything installed right back into the car. We're about to mate the transmission to the clutch. Got everything greased up. Believe it or not, this is a sliding surface for the throwout bearing. Believe it or not, micro clutch debris can get their way lodged between the seal, and that's how the e-gear actuator fluid gets some of its dirt. So that's why it's so important to flush this stuff yearly. Happens on a lot of different vehicles. It takes some time, but eventually it gets pretty nasty. Yep, there we go. Everything's centered, perfectly aligned. Time to get that transmission married back to the car where it should be. And it's very critical that everything is aligned properly. There's nothing cocked in here, because if we have anything cocked, it will not go in. So we're adjusting it, making sure it's straight. This would be very difficult to do in the car, and this is the best way to ensure that it's everything going in evenly and distributed. That way there's nothing that may break. The day has come to install this engine back into the car. It is time. We need to now get all our filters installed, get everything put back. That way we can get this puppy running again. We need to go ahead and get those fuel filters installed, get everything run in. That way everything is fully seated. And then we got our new engine mounts. There's all our brackets, axles. This will all start to come together. Okay, so we got it up pretty high. This is not your typical engine hoist. And look how tall this is. Really tall. We got a guy here that's 6'3", 6'4", and you can imagine that's another 10 feet total. Get it right inside that hole. Time to install all the wiring harness. Big, scary, risky job. Here we have an oversized tall pump that customer had ordered through a company that said this will be better for a car. Problem is, it doesn't fit. It hits the upper portion of the tunnel. Create a custom bracket to tilt it 45 degrees exactly. As you can see. Okay. It's because it will never clear here. Got the engine in. Getting all the final components installed. Need to put the air boxes in. We've got our wires all routed in, and now we have to put coolant in here after we're done with the exhaust, and we're gonna crank her up. Our bat wings are gonna go back on, pulling the air vacuum to make sure we have no coolant leaks, and we're getting ready to get coolant inside. And next is oil, and we're gonna start this puppy up. Day to start bleeding our clutch. We got it all set up, got our computer hooked up. Time to do this. Doing transmission self-calibration. you enjoyed this video. There was a lot of things we did on this car that I actually didn't show in the video, but we initially went through regular driving, breaking in the clutch. We set up the clutch parameters 3 times to make it shift perfect. Kept the RPMs way under 3,000 and then a little bit over 3,000 after we broke it in after 100 miles. So now this car is ready to be shipped back to its owner in Atlanta, Georgia, and ready for the next project. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed working on the car. And if you guys have any questions, comment below and I will try to respond when I have time. And if I don't respond, I apologize because I stay really busy. I work for a living, so as I get free time I may be able to respond, but don't be upset if I don't. But anyways, we have more videos coming and we'll make more Lamborghini videos. If you guys have any requests, comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.